5 to 6 seconds. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of For the Fans podcast. We are back after a kind of, in my opinion at least, a boring wild card weekend. I don't know how you guys felt about it.
Maybe a little bit.
I think it had the potential to be interesting.
Oh no, it did. There was only one game that I was actually like shocked by. Everything else kind of went roughly how I thought it would.
I'm assuming the one game that you're referring to that was good was Commanders and Buccaneers.
I mean, that was a good game, but I was mainly going for shock factor, which is the Texans upsetting the Chargers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
I mean,
Well,
I thought
I
that
would
would be
like to-
close, if anything, but the 20-point blowout was...
Yeah. I thought it was going to be more of a matchup. Back
Same.
and
I
forth,
think-
you know.
I was going to say, I think that there were surprises. If you were to ask me, there were surprises that came from every matchup, if you looked at it deep enough. Obviously, we
Yeah.
touched on the Chargers and Texans, which is the Chargers probably the biggest, what the heck moment was Herbert throwing 4 interceptions.
The Chargers are the biggest if team.
Yeah. For the Steelers, things going wrong. For one of the biggest surprises from that Steelers and Ravens game was actually the Steelers almost looked like they were going to mount a comeback.
Yeah.
Broncos and Bills, I think the biggest shock there was actually how much points the Bills were able to hang on the Broncos, who are a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
Buccaneers, Commanders, that
Close game.
fumble for the Buccaneers, it was rough.
Honestly, it just sucks that they had that fumble. The running back didn't have good grip on the ball, and
Yep.
they
And then the
tried
doink,
to save it. Yeah, and
and then, the
it's just
doink at the
like,
very end. Yeah.
Oh,
And then outside of that,
yeah,
I was
they
gonna say, and
just-
outside of that, Vikings with Sam Darnold and the O-line not performing, absolutely falling apart.
Mhm.
Which I don't know if you guys saw the interesting statistic behind that, but
Which one?
this entire season, the Vikings, it's just so funny. They lose their first loss of the regular season was to the Lions. The very next week they lost to the Rams, and then what happens at the end of the season? They lose to the Lions to lose the divisional title, and then get bounced by the Rams in the first round of the playoffs.
I love that they only lost to 2 teams this entire season.
That was it. That's my take for the Vikings, and then for the Packers, just the injuries, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say the Vikings also had newly acquired middle of the season left tackle Cam Robinson gave up, I think, 9 sacks.
Yeah, 9. There were 9 total.
Yeah, so
that's
all of
brutal.
this talk about Sam Darnold and him crap in the bed, it was not his fault.
No, it
No,
was the
I'm so
O-line.
happy I
He got sacked 11 times, bro.
I'm so
Like,
happy that the Jaguars
Yeah.
traded away Cam Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 9 sacks. I was literally being, Principal Rooney from Ferris Bueller's Day Off over here 9 times.
Yeah.
9 times he got sacked.
Yeah, so
Ridiculous.
I hate it that everyone's attacking him. I'm like, dude, come on, like, if he has no
Clearly
time
they
to
don't know
throw,
ball. Clearly they don't know ball.
well,
To be
and it's
fair,
funny
though, it's
because
still
they
going to
get
cost
paid.
Darnold a good amount of money in his contract wherever he goes.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I hope they have the intelligence to see. Everyone's like, oh, here comes the ghost we were waiting for all year. And
yeah.
it was very obvious that he was not the issue. And I'm sure anyone with half a brain can see that as well.
Well, that's the funny thing. All these professional announcers and all these ESPN and
They're all
CBS,
backup
people,
quarterbacks.
they're all bashing him, and I'm like, y'all are idiots. Can we switch jobs?
Well, wasn't
Bringing
one of
Dan
them Dan
Orlovsky. You're like,
Orlovsky?
"Dude, seriously?
Yeah. Right. It's like, you need to be quiet, dude.
Didn't Dan Orlovsky lose his team a game because he ran out of the end zone?
Yeah.
Right?
Him,
And then
him
he's
and Jimmy
giving him-
Garoppolo. They're the two who've done it.
Ugh, it's beautiful.
But
Yeah.
but I would like to
So-
point out I was the only one that picked the Rams to win with confidence.
Yeah.
You did.
True.
You did.
I will say, though, I did pick the Commanders to win.
So I will
So did I.
say, suck
So
it.
did I.
No one believed in the Commanders.
I did.
I was wrong on both.
You did too. I'm not discounting you, but I'm like saying even the ESPN analysts were saying, "Oh, it's the
Yeah.
Buccaneers."
Yeah.
It was a game of what if for that one, sure. Because let's be
Yeah.
honest, Matt, you touched on it a second ago. If that fumble didn't happen, I
Yep.
think the Bucks might have actually won
Oh,
that
yeah.
game.
Or,
Turnovers are killers in the playoffs.
Or if a good old
And didn't
what
I
was
say
it?
that too? I
You
think I'm pretty
did.
sure I said that about the Buccaneers and
said-
Commanders game. The first
Yep.
team to commit 2 turnovers would lose.
You
Right.
did. You were
did.
prophetic.
So,
The Commanders did get lucky with the good old.
yep.
They did.
That's
They did.
great.
It's weird that that's happened twice now this season.
Right. Well, and it's
Ugh.
just weird that, yeah.
Cody
I'll leave
Parkey
it at
could
that.
never.
No, he couldn't. It's it's the two kickers who have done it this season.
Well, and that one was going to go in no matter what because it hit the inside of the post. The only one that I question is the Kansas City one, where it
Of
hit
course
dead
you
center of
will.
the pole and then it wrapped around and fell in. It's like, okay,
Gosh.
what did it be?
Okay, well let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans
Yes,
this week.
let's talk about the
Oh,
Cheaters.
can of worms incoming. Can of worms.
I'm going to preface this. I'm going to just go ahead and throw my pick, and I'm only throwing it as this because of a weird stat that I've seen.
This
today.
is I'm gonna judge you on this one.
So I have the Texans winning, but the main reason why, and it was the weirdest statistic I've seen, is that this season the Chiefs are 0-2 when playing at 4:30. It was the weirdest statistic. I'm like, you know what? Why not?
So does that feed the black magic idea that their black magic doesn't work under a 4:30 sunset or
Yeah,
something like
it
that?
Pretty
doesn't
much.
work. It doesn't work in the sun. It only works in the dark.
Let's hope that this weird planetary alignment that's happening this month is some way to disrupt the voodoo magic that the Chiefs have been conducting this whole season.
I will say it would be amazing if they get bounced by the Texans.
Yeah, but I don't want the Texans to go to the Super Bowl, I don't think.
I don't
They
either.
couldn't make it past. Come on, like
They made it in one because you never know, because we've seen weird things happen in the playoffs. I don't think that they're like consistent enough to be crowned the best team in the league for this year.
Yeah.
Which is really where I was prophetic, right? Because I said that the Texans are the most inconsistent team. They'll have weeks where they look like the most dominant team in the league, and weeks where they look like the worst team in the league, and they
Or they
can't
just
seem to figure out which one
Or
they
they
want to
just
be.
look like crap altogether. At least that's how I feel it was if you looked at my Texans players on my fantasy roster, especially CJ Stroud this year. Good.
Joe Mixon was
Really,
fairly
though.
decent, though.
Nico
right.
Collins was good before he got hurt too.
And I'll say, the only reason I think the Texans beat the Chargers this past week was because of their defense. It wasn't because of Stroud. It wasn't because of any of these offensive pieces. The defense
Right.
really stepped up this past week.
So with that, this is where I want to venture in my pick here at this point. I know you guys aren't going to like it, but I am picking the Chiefs to win this
Yeah,
game.
I mean, I'm not
Here-
surprised.
Gun
Well,
him.
and here's why. I have reasons behind it. I'm gonna take one reason, which is like the logical analysis reason, and then on the other side is the conspiracy theory reason. Which one do you guys want first?
Theory.
Deserve
Yeah.
better.
Okay, my
Third
conspiracy
first.
theory as to why the Chiefs will win this game is because when it comes to setting up drama and entertainment within the NFL, nothing sells better than the rematches between the Chiefs and the Bills.
True.
And I
Yeah.
do feel fairly confident. I'm not guaranteeing it, and I know we're going to need to talk about it later when we go to the Bills and the Ravens matchup here later on, but it wouldn't surprise me if that is something that we could be setting ourselves up for, is another matchup between these two teams, once again, in the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
I could see that happening, especially how this kind of looks like the best Bills team we've seen. Josh Allen looking like he's going to be the MVP. And then on the other side, the Chiefs, who they're trying to three-peat here. That's my conspiracy theory side of things. On the other side, on the logical side of this, there have been multiple seasons where we have seen the Houston Texans make it to the playoffs or win their division. They win the wild card, but they stop dead in the divisional round. The
And
Houston
cue the
Texans, my friends, the Houston Texans are one of the few NFL franchises. Yes, I recognize they are the youngest NFL franchise right now. They are one of the few franchises that have never reached a championship game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think it's going to change in this
Right.
go around.
Yeah. Well, so I guess so. You're obviously going with the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with the Texans because I feel like
Is this an unbiased opinion?
no, it's based off of recent events.
It's always
So
biased.
Okay.
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it was Rex Ryan that said the Texans didn't have a chance against the Chargers. I'm pretty sure it was them. I could be wrong. But they
I'll
had
look
like
at how
a
they played.
post-game interview, and they're all like giving Rex Ryan crap, saying like whatever he quoted, whatever he said, and they're like, "Oh, look at us now," and they're like all celebrating because they won. So I feel like with the Texans, they have that wild card with them that if they can stay motivated to be like, "Oh, you better not count us out," type motivation, I feel like they can upset the Chiefs because the Chiefs are not that good. Yes, their
I would
record
say that
is
their
amazing.
season argues that, but
It's like they
I
have not played lights out all year with their teams they're going to be facing, not only with Houston, but with whoever they play next. They have not played lights out, and I don't think they're capable.
I don't.
So it's
I need
going
to
to come
pump the brakes.
down.
I need to pump the brakes on that, Matt. Though, and the only reason I want to do that is because I'm just afraid. It's the Squid Games. We played these games before.
I know.
We said the same dang thing last season when the Chiefs were the 3 seed going into the playoffs. We said, "Aha! This is it. The Chiefs dynasty is done. They were horrible during the regular season." And then what happened as soon as the postseason kicked in?
Right.
Destroyed
yes.
Never count on
everyone.
History-
playoff Mahomes.
Right. But Texans, I feel like they're probably going to lose, even though I'm picking them.
Same.
Because you're saying, yeah, I could say, yeah, Patrick Mahomes could turn into playoff Patrick Mahomes and get the job done. But for me, this will decide if I'll watch the complete game or not. But if there's going to be flags flying all over the place in their favor in the third quarter, I'm just going to turn off the game. Because that's where it's going to be make or break.
Yeah.
I feel like it's if the Texans are ahead by a touchdown or 2 scores in the third quarter, and then all of a sudden there's flags all over the place to get Mahomes down the field, I'm just going to turn off because they're going to win. It's literally the script every time they play behind this season. So I hope there isn't. I hope they beat them straight up with no flag interference, no ref help. It's just a straight up who's better. I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that. But I feel like it's going to be one of those games that people are going to hate to watch.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be rough to watch. And I think to your point too, if the Chiefs really are, if it is gonna come off as a convincing win and not something that is just rigged at that point, the biggest thing we're gonna need to see is Patrick Mahomes get off his butt, stop playing banjo and singing "Why Are There So Many Songs About Rainbows," and then turn into the Mahomes we know.
Yeah, it has to be a convincing win for me to convince me that hey, they could three-peat. But if they barely squeak off a win like they've done all season, I'm not convinced. And it's just going to be a show the rest of the season. So, Tyler, where do you stand?
The other day I was thinking about the Chiefs, and I was hit by a peculiar. Oh my gosh, I can't say that word right now. It's so weird. Thought. What if they are conning us all? And I don't mean the cheating way, but the way that they just beat everyone just enough. I feel like I've watched and read enough stories where the truly masterful are not the people who blow people out, but know how to win by just enough to make themselves look like not enough of a challenge, right? What if we're seeing a team who is like, yeah, we could dominate any of these people, but we're going to not, so that everyone thinks that we're worse than we actually are. And everyone steps up to the plate thinking, this will be easy. And then every single one of them falls. I don't know. Maybe this is just as much a conspiracy theory as thinking that the refs are, out to stop or get the Chiefs another win. I don't know. But I was like, wouldn't that be interesting to see them go all the way, just showing that, you know what? It doesn't matter how much you win by. It just matters that you win and you know how to.
Yeah. Which has
I
kind of been
feel
the
like-
model of the Chiefs for the regular season.
Yeah.
At least
I feel like
recently.
that's a cop out though. Whenever I use that excuse, they know how to win when they need it. I'm like, that's a cop out.
I'm not saying they know how to
Especially-
win when they need. I'm not saying they
Right.
know how to win when they need to. I'm
Right.
saying that they know how to win by
Chiefs for
just
the regular
enough.
season.
They know how to make it
Yeah.
look close. I don't
But they
know.
played pretty bad.
That is,
Come on.
and
There's an
Like,
old
they
that's-
saying
played
of,
pretty bad
"Good
because they
teams win
know how to stay
games."
just ahead.
I was like,
Yeah.
good teams
Plus-
win games, great teams win close games.
I don't know. I could be, like I said, could just be up in the night. Who's to say? But
I'm just with all of these, 1 in a million events happening consecutively all the time. Like everyone's like, oh, it's just because they're good. I'm like, no.
I definitely agree that there are some crazy things that have definitely
Now
gone in their
making a
favor.
great pass, okay, that's different. But where it's like, oh, he kind of crapped the bed on the pass, missed, and then all of a sudden there's a flag for roughing the passer, automatic first down, which
happened twice during the season? I mean, not very much.
it's like
I mean-
times, actually, but it's fine.
Gosh.
But
Let's move on from the Chiefs, because we'll
But-
spend a whole episode talking about the Chiefs' theories.
right. Well,
I mean, we
was
only
just
have
gonna
4 games
mention-
to discuss, really.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
we have our net segment, which is going to take a while. We're already 20
Right.
minutes in.
So I was just gonna mention one thing on that penalty. I wish they change it next season. It shouldn't be an automatic first down. It should be a 10-yard penalty, not automatic first down
some more like college.
for roughing the passer. Yeah, when it's like it's like 3rd and 40, and then it's roughing the passer and it's automatic first down. That's crap. That's all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. I hope they change it.
You know, football should
I-
just
I
be
can
more like
agree there.
hockey. Just throw off the helmets and start swinging at each other.
I'm 100%
Yeah.
in favor of that. Let them fight. Speaking of fights, we got
Moving on
the
here.
Lions and the Commanders game next. This one, obviously, I think everyone's on the Lions side.
I like the
Probably-
Commanders, but I want to see the Lions go for it all.
I think
Right.
they'll be the Lions.
I think I said this a couple weeks ago. I don't think the Lions, even though they have all these injuries, I don't think they'll lose until the Super Bowl.
Aiden Hutchinson might be
Like-
back for the Super Bowl too.
Yeah. Everybody on that team is 100% all in with the team. And I think that's why they're dominant, even though they're a walking grave. They literally have an ambulance that rolls with them now, just for them. You
True.
know?
I mean,
so
the nice thing is as well is that every single playoff game that they play will be in Detroit.
yeah,
But yeah, we're all in agreement. Lions win. I mean, I feel like we could discuss how the Commanders win. I think it's gonna come down to Jaden Daniels has to do a 1 in a million play, but he's done it before, but he would have to do it again.
yeah, he would have to play really well. Their defense are going to have to slow down the Lions. And I say slow down instead of stop
yeah.
because I just don't think they're going to stop them from scoring.
I think that's the biggest thing is there's no stopping power. I think if they play a normal offensive game, but their defense shows up, I think they could win it. But I just don't think Washington's defense is of a caliber to do that.
Right.
But it's the NFL. Anything can happen.
And isn't what's his bucket back this game? The running back for the Lions, not
Montgomery?
Montgomery?
Montgomery. Yeah, isn't he back or is it
I thought he was out for the
another
season.
week? Well, they said that he was coming back because he decided not to do surgery. on his knee.
Oh, he
Yeah,
returned to practice.
he's not. Yeah, he's not questionable. So yeah, he'll be playing. I don't think he'll be involved as much. Like I think they might use him just to kind of throw off some teams and give him a couple of runs here and there. But I think Gibbs will still be the
Yeah,
primary
Montgomery was a full
target.
participant, so yeah.
Yeah,
He is
so-
back.
That will be interesting. I really hope they don't ride him a lot just because his knee is a little messed up.
Yeah.
But I hope they play him enough just to make it interesting. But yeah, no, I'm kind of all in with the Lions. I like what they've been doing. Their leadership is top notch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most of their leaders could be leaving soon.
But if we're all in agreement with the Lions, let's move into Eagles and Rams. So Rams could potentially make this interesting, but well, and I think I brought this up with you guys too after the Eagles and Packers game. I wasn't blown away with the Eagles play against a
Nope.
beat up Packers squad.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
where does this shake out?
Well, and Saquon didn't play great. AJ Brown wasn't like phenomenal. It was just like they won. You
Yeah.
know, like congratulations. So
Kind of like watching a Chiefs game.
Jeez.
very similar.
Please, I don't want to go back down that rabbit hole.
We'll just make sure that you know it's there.
Ugh, I know
We
it's
won't
there.
go in.
I put caution tape all around it.
Is it bad that I want the Eagles to lose even more now after all the crap that I feel like went down after the last game with like the fan being arrested, like all the crap that I've seen all of the Eagles fans posting about this is the year, and like I don't know.
Well, I think it'll be a good game because the Rams, they played well. They got a lot of their key players back.
Mhm.
They could go into Philly and kind of make
I
them
think they'll
eat
make it
those
interesting.
words.
Yeah, I think they'll make it interesting. And I want to back up there, Tyler. I think yes, like I don't think any of us would complain about seeing the Eagles lose. I know it definitely means more to you because your feelings on the Eagles are about akin to how Matt feels about the Chiefs these days. Um,
Always
True story.
correction.
Yeah. It's hard. I look at this matchup here, and I actually think it'll be really, really close. I know some people are thinking that the Eagles will cakewalk this. I think it'll be really close. I could see this game going into a surprise overtime.
Would be fun. But for the sake of the winner of this game, I hope it doesn't because you don't want them beating themselves up more.
It's true. That's true. I honestly think that I think the Eagles will pull out the win, but I think the Rams will make a game of it.
Yeah. Should be
I
a
think
good
they've
one.
got the offensive ability to do it.
Yeah.
And they showed that their defense was able to shut down a pretty decent team last week. I don't see why they couldn't shut down a really, really good Eagles offense this week.
Right. The only reason I'd want the Eagles to win and beat the Lions and go to the Super Bowl is because of Saquon.
Mm,
No, dude, he deserves, even though it won't go to him, but he deserves the MVP. Like the fact that he has like pressed the brakes, doesn't want to go into break records, doesn't want to finish a run, rather just down and end the game, really does
Right.
truly show he is the most valuable player on that team.
he's definitely a good team player.
Yeah, that's the only reason I would want them to win. So,
Same.
but my pick is probably the Eagles.
I also
I
have
Yeah,
the
I think
Eagles.
the Rams just don't have enough tread or enough kind of wear on those tires with everyone coming back. Feel like they're just not up to Super Bowl speed yet.
Yeah.
They could
I-
be, though. They pulled off an impressive game last week.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
Sorry, McKay. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna go with the Eagles too in this. I think it'll be close, but my pick would be for the Eagles.
But yeah. Well, look, you go up to the next game, but before we do, it's one thing I always like to bring up because it's always fun to watch. the prices of the games before we cover the last one. Which game is the most expensive, do you guys think, out of these four?
Oh, should we all make guesses?
Yeah.
Philly and Los Angeles is my pick.
Okay.
Bills, Ravens.
That makes
I'm
sense.
torn between Bills, Ravens, and Lions and Commanders. I'm gonna go with Lions, Commanders just to be different.
Lions and Commanders is the most expensive game.
Heck yeah!
$404 is the lowest. The next
Over
after
at
that,
Ford Field.
yep. The next one is $200, and that's Eagles and Rams.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the next game is the Ravens and Bills at $129, and then the Texans Chiefs game is $100.
Okay.
It's all about
Which-
location of stadium.
Wait,
Is a
wait.
shock.
No, we need to back up. Do you know why the Chiefs and Texans game is so cheap?
Because it's
There's
cold.
there's
It's
actually a
cold as
reason
balls.
for it.
So the Bills
Taylor
will
Swift's
be
not
first
going to be
then.
there.
There's actually a reason for it, and I read it in an article on ESPN this week. It is because we have that polar vortex rolling through here again. And you remember what happened between the Dolphins and the Chiefs game last year, where it was like a wind chill of -27, and they had to have fans who had to go to the hospital for frostbite. There is concern of that happening at Arrowhead Stadium here once more.
That's great.
I wouldn't buy tickets either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even if they're cheap, I'm like, lose a limb, go to a game.
Fine.
I'll bring my own personal heater.
Yeah, so there's part of your rationale behind it. Is I think there's a little bit of like a, oh my gosh, we could die.
Yeah. That would explain why the Bills and Ravens game is the second cheapest too, because current temperature is 16 degrees.
Yep.
No thanks. But yeah, I always thought that I always loved watching that. That's just the coolest thing. Seeing
I
the
think it's a
prices
cool
and
thing to look
everything.
at.
Yeah. But yeah, so
So,
that moves us
Bills,
to the last
Ravens.
game. Oh yeah.
Do we think that this is going to be the biggest game of the playoffs?
No, because I think
I-
if the Chiefs win and the Bills win, I think that will be the biggest game.
So potential for biggest game if one of those two teams loses then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna be realistic with you. This is just my personal thought, but I think the Ravens they're gonna poop the bed.
I kind of do too.
Well,
Okay,
if
cool, it's not just
Lamar
me.
kind of follows his playoff record.
usual
he
trajectory.
usually does. He
Yeah.
usually craps the bed. But disclaimer, they have Derrick Henry now.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
if he's crapping the bed, give it to Derrick Henry. I mean, if he craps the bed, they're toast.
So is that our theory behind Derrick Henry? They were like, crap, we can't save Lamar in postseason. We have to get someone else who will save the entire franchise during
Yes.
postseason.
100%. That is what is going on, without a doubt.
I love that
So.
theory. That makes me happy.
But I'm with the Bills. They're gonna win. They're the hot team. They're playing out of their minds.
They're finally
Yeah.
going to get
And-
revenge on the Chiefs.
Yeah. And I'll put up the same thing I put up last week with the Commanders Bucks game. First team to commit 2 turnovers will lose. That's what this game will come down to. Just because both teams are so good, it's going to be mistakes. That's it. Done deal.
I don't know, but you could also argue that teams that are so good, maybe those turnovers don't matter as much.
Right.
Maybe I think a lot of this is going to come down to, yeah, you have a turnover. Both of these teams are good enough that they're going to make up for that.
Well, that's what I said. 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2. Once whoever gets 2 first, it's. I just think it would put it out of reach. Just
I'm
because
with
they
you.
all
I'll take
can
a
hit the
bolder
gas pedal.
take. Whoever makes the first stop will win the game.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
The bold,
I like that.
bold take.
I like
So
that.
you think this is just an offensive shootout, is what I'm hearing?
I mean, maybe.
Yes, but both the defenses are good. That's the
So potential for more.
Yeah, and I think it's even if they do have the 2 turnovers, it's just the bounce back too. Gotta throw that in there. Like they gotta be able to bounce back. It's like, oh crap, we just fumbled it. Oh, I'll throw a pick. Get a touchdown the next drive. You know.
Right.
So, but I think the Bills have it in the bag. They've only improved since the beginning of the season, and they've improved week to week in the playoffs. So.
I don't think there's a team I would be sadder to see out than the Bills.
Yep.
Like, the funny thing is I almost hope that the Lions win this all, but I would be more sad to see the Bills out than I would be to see the Lions out. Like, I would be like, okay, yeah, the Lions are out. That's fine. Like, I kind of thought that would happen. But I want the Lions to win more overall.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so what's I guess Shane's and McKay's take on who's gonna win?
I already said the Bills.
Yeah, I said the Bills too. I think the Ravens will.
Oh,
mess
unanimous. Got it.
Yeah.
Me and McKay were saying the Ravens are gonna crap the bed.
Yep.
Hey, I like it.
Okay,
I'm on board.
cool. That is our divisional matchups here, and then that will push us into what we do for conference championship. Let's go through here with the time that we have. We can go through what we think could potentially happen next season for division titles, and then there's a little more fun there at the end. But let's kick it off here with our usual segment. We've done this one a couple of times before with Who Got Next. We're going to take a look at each division within the NFL going into the 2025-2026 season, kind of doing a little bit of prediction on our end as far as which franchise will win their division next year. We'll call it out here while we go through this through each of these. But you guys will see on the document that the 4 of us all have, where I have noted who has won the division over the past several years. Is there a division that's due for a change, or are we going to see more of the same? That's what we want to have to basically we're going to have a discussion about here over the next little while. So let's kick it off here with the AFC East. For background context, we're going back as far as the 2016 season when we're talking about past division winners. So for the AFC East, it's kind of just been a series of dynasties. The Patriots were winning the division from 2016 to 2019, and since then, starting the 2020 season till currently, it has been the Buffalo Bills winning it every single season. Now, let's discuss here, kicking it off with the AFC East. What do we think is going to happen? More of the same? Things change? Well, Matt thinks it'll be the Jets. I think it'll be a cold day and you-know-where when the Jets win a division title again, but...
Right. What?
Oh boy.
Rodgers is going to have his darkness retreat.
No, Rodgers isn't staying with the Jets, and neither is Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Because now Devontae's coming out and saying, hey, I'm not against going back to the Raiders if things are right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think things are going to change. With expanding on that a little bit, it's either going to be the Patriots or the Bills.
It's going to be the Bills. It's not going to be the Patriots.
Patriots are
still at least 2 years away from fighting hard for it.
But are they really that far out, though?
No, that's why I said
Dolphins
2 years.
Just because they have a lot of cap space doesn't mean that they have a winning chance next year.
I'd say one more year.
If they can draft freaking weapons and protection.
But see, that's the thing. It's like if they draft right, if they get the right free agents, if they get the coaching. Right now, I feel like the Patriots have a few pieces in place, but they still have a lot to go. I think next year is going to be get the rebuild on track. The year after, I think they're going to contend and then fall short. But I think the year after that, they should possibly be winning the division.
I think they'll wild card next year.
I think they could wild card next year.
I don't think they'll wild card next year. I think the Dolphins will still beat them.
I just don't see it.
I think that there's going to be I think there's going to be a lot of changes for the Dolphins next year. I know there's nothing confirmed whether Tyreek Hill will stay or not, but I feel like the Dolphins window has definitively closed. This team is not going to be what they thought they could be. Same thing with the Jets too. That's turned into an even bigger dumpster fire than we thought it was going to be. The Patriots, My biggest reason why I do actually agree with Matt and believe they could wild card next year is actually because Mike Vrabel's done it before. He did it with the Titans.
Yep.
But see, I
Um,
gotta throw this in. You got the Chargers who are now contending in the West. You got the Broncos who are now contending and doing well. We got AFC South starting to come up. We got Joe Burrow with the Bengals, which I think should bounce back next year. There's a
Nothing is
lot of fight to
guaranteed,
get
though.
into a wild card for next year for the Patriots.
There is a lot of fight, but also nothing is guaranteed. There's no one that's going to say that the Chargers and Broncos will both make it back in next year. I'm going to be honest with you, Shane. I know you said the AFC South is coming up. I don't believe it. I don't believe in a single team there. Sorry,
No, you're
that I
fine.
think is really ready. That is
That one's
really
a big
ready.
if too, but I think I see like a team like the Bengals coming back, or as we've seen many times before, the Steelers with Mike Tomlin always find a way.
I think those two are probably your most convincing argument as far
Right.
as what would make it tough for an AFC East.
Everyone
challenger.
else is kind of just.
I think
AFC
I think the
West-
Patriots are missing too much. Where I think AFC South, 3 of the 4 teams at least have more pieces put together currently.
Yeah. I think it's just me from a fan of the team. They're just missing a couple of things on offense. They're fine on defense.
Oh yeah,
They just need
I think your
four
defense is
freaking
fine, but
points.
that offense
That's
is
what they need.
your offense is just so bad
But-
right now that ugh.
Ooh. Yeah, but like I said, all they need is maybe 3 or 4 years.
I think you guys need almost a completely new O-line. You guys need at least 2 wide receivers, and I don't think Ramondre Stevenson is your running back, honestly.
He's a good second option, I
Mhm.
think.
But I
Yeah.
mean, I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, there's at least 6 to 7 pieces on offense alone that need to be
They need Ashton Jennings.
rotated.
But yeah, so official thing, I think we're all in agreement. It'll be the Bills in the AFC East.
Like,
I'm going to be real with you guys here. I'm looking at the Patriots' schedule for next year. There is high potential for them to win 10 or more games.
Yeah, it's pretty weak.
okay, I got now look at all this stuff because we're pulling up schedules and everything. Good.
I just got curious. Sue me.
Oh man, but yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
But,
That's just my only reason behind it. Whereas, but I do agree with you, Shane, that the Bengals, Steelers, there's Bengals could be on the up and up. Finally, technically they are a good team. They've just had a string of bad luck, whether that is just games not going well this season or last year Joe Burrow getting hurt. They could be on the right track after this point. AFC West, it's a coin flip. Any of them could do well or they could do horrible, except for whoever the division winner is. AFC South, one of them will make it out. I don't know if there's going to be anyone beyond that. That just kind of leaves it at that. The door is open, and I agree with Matt. I actually think that the Patriots, especially with the Vrabel hiring, have a better chance than the Dolphins or the Jets.
I
Now,
look
with
at the
that being
Patriots
said-
schedule and I'm like, okay, there's some easy games in there, but I also see some feisty games.
right.
Yes. Now, with that being said, I think we need to come to our conclusion here that we can move to the next division. We're talking
Oh,
about the
Bills.
Patriots missing a wild card, which makes one thing very clear. We believe that the Bills will win the division
Yeah.
next year.
Agreed.
Let's move to the AFC North, where I feel like things get very interesting, and we can leave time for all the others by trying to somewhat go through this one, but
I think
Yeah.
the Bengals. I think they'll make a good comeback next year.
I would agree with that.
They'll have to. They have to. Like,
I
they
don't.
have so
I
many
think-
players that are going to be up on contracts. Like, Jamar Chase will be done. He'll probably
Yep.
want big money, and
Yeah.
It'd be hard
I
to
think I gotta go with the
stay
Ravens on this one.
out. Yeah.
And see, I think the Ravens are a good bet. If it's not the Bengals, it's definitely the Ravens. I just feel like there's just been so much parity that's present in the
Mhm.
AFC North that we could certainly see another change here.
I-
It won't be the Browns. It
I
won't
think-
be the Steelers.
I think the biggest
Mhm.
issue that McKay and I have talked about many times before is the Bengals always start slow.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's what kills them every year is that slow start, it makes or breaks their playoffs. They should have been in the playoffs this year, but that rough start, I think, kept them out.
But that is not always a guarantee, Shane, because they do always start out rough, and yet we have them winning the division 2 times
True.
in this record. And one of those they did start, if I remember correctly, either 0-2 or 0-3, and they made it all the way back to the AFC Championship game and were only a field goal away from returning to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but 0-2 and 0-3, I feel like isn't that bad of a start. When it's 0-4 and 0-5, that's when things are a little different.
Yes, but they've never started 0-4 or 0-5.
Oh, that's true, huh?
Yeah.
McKay with the facts.
I'm going with Bengals on this one.
Tyler, what do you got?
I think I got to stay with the Ravens. I don't think they have enough changes going on their roster to merit a major change. I hope the Bengals next year have enough in them to make a postseason appearance, but I don't think it's enough to beat the Ravens for the #1 spot.
Yeah. I think it's a good call. It'll be one of those two. And it seems like we're divided on that. But it will be one of those two. Not the Steelers, not the Browns.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
right.
Steelers definitely have too much going on.
Yeah. Let's jump into the AFC West here, guys. Pretty much ever since the 2016 season, the Chiefs have won this division. Now, is that going to be changing anytime soon? I'm going to offer you my opinion here. I don't think next year is the year.
Nope.
I think the Broncos and the Chargers are still another year away from being content to take down the Chiefs in the division.
The Chargers are an if team. I like them, but they had all the pieces to do it a couple of times, and they just couldn't finish it out.
Man, my pick is going to be spicy.
You taking the Raiders?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
No.
If it's not this year, it'll be next year.
Wow.
You watch. It'll happen.
Nah.
I think I think something's gonna have to happen because not only is that team in hot water with the city of Las Vegas, that I feel like the next 2 years are gonna be we either perform or
I'm like,
or else.
Here's the thing. The city can't really decide, hey, we don't like our football team because they're bad, so we're kicking them out of the city. They can't really do that.
Well, it's more of it's either now or never. Like you either go a great push to the postseason or you're just never gonna do it.
Oh, so like the Browns or the Jets.
Yeah, but I feel like they have a little bit more. Granted, yes, this is partly because of Tom Brady, but I think this will really show the next couple of years what he can do for the organization, and if he pulls it off and builds a juggernaut, they will be contending.
Oh, see, I'm not even gonna go into the Tom Brady stuff because he's a minority owner that owns like 10% of the Raiders, and his job is very, very minimal with them.
Hey, he's gonna go find a coach that's gonna rock the Raiders world. He's in charge of that committee.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility. But more than likely, yes, it's going to be the cheaters again because, it's just the way it is. And it's been like that since 2016. And it's the weakest division in football. So
I wouldn't say
I
they're the
don't know
weakest
that I would
division because they
agree
just
with
had
that.
3 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
yeah. Let's roll the dice again and see what happens.
I'm like, I don't know how you can sit there and say the weakest division in the NFL when they had 3 teams with over 10 wins.
It's still a weak division.
It's not the weakest. The weakest was honestly either AFC or NFC South. Heck, I would even throw AFC. I'll throw AFC East in there too.
I will fully take on the accountability that the NFC South is not a conference or is not a division to be proud of at this current time. And I will leave my comments at that so I do not further humiliate my team or division.
I mean, heck, the AFC East is right behind them, honestly.
Yeah.
And the AFC South.
I included AFC with the NFC. They're both kind of even.
But well, I guess we'll all agree it's the Chiefs. So that leaves the last AFC division that we touched on.
The AFC South, which is going to be a toss-up.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's not the Titans. I don't think it'll be the Colts.
Back? I doubt it. So I think honestly it's the Jags or the Texans.
Yeah, 100%.
One or the other. Just because
I
they
think it'll
have
depend on
potential.
the coaching for the Jags. If the Jags don't get a very good offensive-minded coach, it's gonna be the Texans winning it.
I think. Well, here's my take on this, Shane. I think the Jags are going to win the division next year,
Heck
just
yeah.
because I do think there has been a little bit of a weird shift that they haven't exactly wanted within the Texans. The Texans are okay, but they're not knock it out of the park. CJ Stroud's an MVP candidate like we thought. And the Jaguars, as long as they do not hire someone like Urban Meyer, which I don't think they will.
I think the main two that are being talked about right now are Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen. So Buccaneers OC and Lions OC.
But what I'm saying with that, though, is like, for example, Doug Peterson wasn't necessarily a flashy hire, and yet he got them into the playoffs, and they won a playoff game, too.
He
I think you
fixed
get the right coach
them
in there,
after
and you get a
Urban.
reversal. Yeah, you get a reversal of culture change there and stuff like that. The feeling of wanting to win and like you can win again. I think it'll be the Jaguars.
I think it'll be keep Trevor upright and healthy, and the Jaguars will explode because we've seen Brian Thomas Jr. was a top 5 wide receivers in all of the league this year. Tank Bigsby, gosh, I can't say his name. He had some flashes. There were bright spots, but there were very dark spots, and I think if they get new coaching and fit some of that, I think they'll be pretty good to contend.
I'll say this: the Jaguars, the linchpin here, though, if we want to say why the reason the Jaguars fall apart, it's going to come from poor drafting this next and signings this offseason,
Yep.
which basically means it's going
Agreed.
to fall under DM. It's going to fall
that.
under DM.
Please get rid of Bulky, please.
Yep. If he does not right, if they don't do that right, and they look back on it, he will be gone this next year.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Do we think that Stephon Diggs possibly staying, possibly leaving will have a major impact?
He
No.
should leave. Or
I
retire.
think the bigger impact is that Tank Dell has basically broken his entire leg 2 years in a row, and he's now extremely damaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. The other concern is I do believe that Stephon Diggs, his ACL tear is going to be one that it might take a little longer. He might not be able to come back until midway through next season.
Yeah, that's
ACL
fair.
tears generally take a year anyway, and then it's all a mental game after that. And do I? This is going to sound horrible, but do I think that Stephon Diggs has the mental fortitude to make an earlier comeback compared to others? No, I do not.
Yeah. All right. We got 10 minutes to go, and we got 4 more divisions to go through. So let's dive through them.
So NFC East, now we're in the NFC here. It's kind of been a back and forth. Look, the Commanders got one year in there, but let's remember that was the COVID year. That was the year where every NFC East team had a horrible record. So outside of that, it's been back and forth between the Cowboys and the Eagles. History has shown, even before when we've been recording it here, as far as the 2016 season, you will never have a back-to-back division winner within the NFC East. If you go off of that history, that means the Eagles will not win the division next year.
And with that said, I'm actually going to go with the Commanders for next year.
I think I will too, because I think the Cowboys are in complete disarray right now, and they've got to look for a new head coach too.
And Jaden Daniels, very good.
Yeah.
I think
I'll
the
go
Commanders have
with-
a young enough team to do well. Sorry, but go ahead.
Eagles.
You think it will be a repeat?
I think so.
I just can't get behind that just because history has just shown
Oh,
for
yeah.
decades now that it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Eagles are losing some key defensive players. I think they're going to be about the same team that we've seen this year, which is a pretty dang good team. I think they're still going to have arguably, not even arguably, just overall, the best running back in the league.
Yeah.
But with all that said, I don't know. This is so hard. I'm warring within myself of my dislike of the Eagles versus my interest in seeing anyone but them. And knowing that they're a pretty good team, but
Just mix it up and say the Jets. Or not the
maybe it's
Giants.
a blind hope, but I'm putting
Giants.
all $50,000 on the Jets. I'm just kidding.
The Giants would be sad.
The
if They
Giants.
got nothing.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Um,
Let's go NFC North.
Lions.
Lions.
I think it's the Lions division now, which I love.
Sorry. Yeah,
Yep.
it's Lions.
Vikings are going to have to figure things out with their quarterback. Packers are. Jordan Love is not as good as everyone thinks he is.
And then
If
Caleb
we're looking for a
Williams needs
quarterback,
to step up.
well, and everything else still needs changes within the Bears.
Like
It's
the
just
McCaskey's
it's
not
not.
owning them anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. So definitely, the Bears are going to kind of be a similar situation to, let's see, the Giants, the Browns, the
They need to bring back
Titans.
the Honey Bears.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I'd say
Look at their schedule. Lions have
yeah.
such an easy schedule. It's gonna be a cakewalk for the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, moving on to, the fun division, right?
Hey,
NFC West. South
49ers are coming back. That's my take.
I will say the Rams.
Think the Rams will repeat.
I'm saying
mix it up with
Seahawks.
the Cardinals, yeah.
Are we all picking a different team? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
you are.
Yes, we are.
That's awesome. I love it.
So, Cardinals.
Okay,
for
rapid
sure.
fire. Everybody give their reasons. Who picked the Seahawks? You start.
Woohoo! I think part of it is ease of schedule. I think part of it is the Seahawks have not made any major changes. And so they're going to come in. They've got a lot of young talent, and I'm ready to see them take over the division.
Okay. Like it. Rams. Who had the Rams?
Shane. Bueller.
That's Shane who had the Rams? He must be busy with something right now.
Yeah.
Okay. You had the Rams, right? Rapid
Yep.
fire. Why the Rams?
They just got a good team right now. I think Matthew Stafford has one good year, and Puka Nacua.
For me, 49ers, this is just a down year. Things just really didn't work out between injuries. They're going to shed some of the big, weighty contracts next year. Brock Purdy will get
And
paid.
pay Purdy. Yep.
Yep. And then at that point, I think they'll be ready to come out and be dominant once again.
Yeah.
And then Matt, Cardinals?
Call of Duty's dying, so Kyler Murray won't be distracted anymore. And he'll be able to concentrate on football.
I love it.
No, but I think the team has a lot of potential. If they do a lot of good moves in the offseason, I feel like they can mix up that division a little bit.
Cool. I like it.
And they
All
have
right.
the fourth most cap space.
Yep,
That's true.
with young talent. It's always a good combo.
Okay. And then the NFC South. Falcons won it in 16, and then we've had
Bucks.
Dynasty 10. Saints
The
carried
Bucks.
it, and then now Bucks.
The Bucks. It'll be the Bucks.
Still
again.
Bucks.
Yeah, they'll get a couple of people they lost during the season back. They might add a couple
No
more.
one believes in Bryce Young.
Yeah,
Don't you
same
mean,
about as much
Mac
as they believe in
Jones?
Derek Carr.
Don't you mean Mac Jones?
I'm gonna have a hot take,
Yeah.
and I'm actually gonna say it's gonna be the Falcons.
What a joke.
Here's the thing, Shane. We said last year with all the changes that when they got Kirk, when they got Darnell Mooney, when they said they were going to use Bijan better, when they bolstered up the defense, we were like, oh, this is it. Yeah, Falcons are going to win the division.
Don't give Tyler hope.
I want to pick the Falcons so bad, but I have to go with the Bucs.
I think the Bucs are the better team. I'm just saying, I think the Falcons may pull a rabbit out of the hat.
Unless it's Tom Brady, probably it's not going to happen.
Oh my gosh. Tom Brady and Patriots talk.
I think a lot of it has to do with coaching. And I don't think the Falcons have the coaching staff to get them there. I think they've got the talent, but I think they need to figure themselves out a little bit. And I think it's going to, now that they feel pretty good about Penix, I think they're going to take this next year, get their crap together, and I think we're going to have a Falcons dynasty come 2026.
Hey, there you go.
Top 5 tight end for next year.
Oh man.
No, should be nice.
Okay, make sure to draft him next year.
I drafted Kyle Pitts once, and I will never do it again.
It's like me with CMC.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Did
I
you?
want to see how I've been feeling with Dak Prescott too. Just gonna throw that out there.
I love that Pitts' best games were after fantasy football was over
I
for
know.
most people.
Right? How it always goes.
Okay. All right. Now, with a little bit of remaining time that we have, since we're almost at the top of the hour, we always go just a little bit over here. Here is our next little bit of fun that we have for you guys here. This is kind of similar to the trivia that we did the last time, but it's not anything specific like what we did with quarterbacks and their alma maters. Really, what the answer that you need to give is the team. And what's going to happen here is I'm going to give you what's called this quiz, if you will, is how to be an NFL fan. So to be an NFL fan of this particular team, you got to do 3 things. So those 3 things that I'm going to tell you are going to be your hints for what the answer is, which is the team. Does that make sense?
Yes, and we can only do a couple because I want to try to end on time for once.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
All right. All right. Then Shane, let's have you kick off then, shall we?
All right.
Okay. All right. So if you want to be an NFL fan of this team, you've got to visit the world's largest sports bar, talk about the greatest show on turf, and never mention Stan Kroenke's name in St. Louis. What team?
Why am I blanking on this? I feel like I should know this. I don't know this.
Visit the world's largest sports bar, talk about the greatest show on turf, never mention Stan Kroenke's name in St. Louis.
Is it the Rams? It doesn't feel like the Rams. That feels like a trap.
It's the Rams. It is the
Okay.
Rams.
I was just saying, I feel like
I
this
was
is a
like,
trap.
wait, this is too obvious.
That's what it was. I'm like, this is too obvious. I don't think it's too obvious, right?
All right, cool. Let's do the next one. Matt, this one's for you.
Shoot.
To be an NFL fan of this team, you got to meet Fireman Ed, know how to spell the team's name in a chant, and never bring up the butt fumble.
I know this one. Okay, I feel good.
I was like, New York Jets?
Yep, correct. It's easier than you think.
Right.
Okay. Tyler, this one's for you. To be a fan of this team, you've got to know how to chant to the White Stripes 7 Nation Army. You got to rub the feet of Johnny Unitas' statue at the end of the walk, and you maybe also should rub Ray Lewis's cleats for good luck too.
Is ooh, is this Chargers?
It is not.
No,
It is not.
it's the
Oh,
Ravens,
okay.
right?
It is the Ravens. Yes.
Yep, Ray Lewis. Yep.
Let's give you one more. Let's give you one more.
Okay.
To be a fan of this team, you got to hope that the players bring the salute back, bring plenty of oxygen, and be thankful for John Elway and Peyton Manning.
That's a dead giveaway.
I got it from the oxygen, honestly.
Yeah.
What is Mile High Stadium and the Denver Broncos?
Correct. All right, Shane, you want to cap it there, or you want to do one more round?
Hey, can I just do a quick shout out to my good friend McKay, who had an integral part in making my birthday a wonderful day because he provided my wife with a series of NFL trivia to take up my evening.
Yeah.
So thank you, McKay.
You bet. It was actually really fun when your wife texted me and said, "Hey, I need help with NFL trivia." I was like, you're speaking my language."
That's funny. We can do one more
man.
round each, I think.
I think we gotta call it there, honestly.
All right, we'll do it next week.
Well, like we will have some next week, and I will get some ready for McKay to also answer and play as well.
I'm so stoked. Let's do it.
All right. With that, everyone, we will see you guys next time.